Welcome to the Hideout. Today we're going to talk about something that's been around a long time and still used today. It's battle proven. Okay, gang, welcome to the Hideout, and today we're going to talk about something that's been around a long time. It's battle proven. It's still kicking ass on the battlefields. You know, it's still an awesome weapon. But before we get started, please, guys, let me say thank you for subscribing. Click the little like button. Click the ringy dingy so you get a notification. Check us out at sgt1911.com. You know, we're having a good time. Now, you guys know I'm not sponsored by any pawn shop, gun dealer, or anybody else, so what I have to do is beg, borrow, steal. Probably not steal, I wouldn't tell you about it. But anyway, I have to get these weapons somehow to look at it. Today, we're looking at one. Everybody's familiar with it, but you're not familiar with mine. And I've been tinkering with mine a long time, here and there, and trying to do things. And what I'm going to talk about is the Springfield M1A. Now, Springfield M1A came out in like 1959, you know, shortly after it was replaced by the M16s. And then we get over in Iraq and Afghanistan, and what they do, they bring these things out of storage and they use them back on the battlefield today. Yeah, they put sights on them, they change the stocks a little bit, but they're the same old rifles that they give up on back in the 1960s because of the new polymer technology. What they have to have? They had to have them ran with some thump in it so it kicks some ass down range. And what they do, they went back to that 308 and then went back to the M14s, this being the M1A civilian version. But let me tell you a little bit what I've done here. So to make it a little bit more, you know, I'm old school, you know it. But when I first bought this thing, I bought the cheaper version. What did I do that for? Because it was cheaper. I had a plain old plastic stock. And what did I do? When I get the chance, I replaced it with like a nice wooden stock, current. And then I even went back on this end and I changed out the flash hider to one that has the bayonet lug. Now we're getting about as back to original as I can get this thing, and it's a lot of fun to shoot. But if you guys are not familiar with them, you know what it is. And you know, I'm just going to throw this out there for the sake of doing it. Back one of my first videos, I did an M1A Scout, and in there I mentioned how similar they were to the M1 Garand. Well, I had a troll cuss me or whatever, but you know, here's the bottom line. Think about it. M1 Garand, M14A1, the same bolt. The only thing is, it feeds from a magazine now, down here, instead of the M-block clips like on the Garand. Some people don't know that. Most of you guys who are going to watch this video do. I have a Garand. We'll do a Garand video someday and lay them side by side so we can actually see them. If we could take them apart in a way, and I might be able to do it, the YouTube would be happy, we can do that too. But let's just look at my flash hider right here. It's got a nice set of sights on it, just like they were issued back in the day. You can see it, got the big battle sight out there. Got the big nice ears protecting it. It's got the bayonet lug down on the bottom. And you know, guys, down here is where I got my gas plug at. Down here. So this is gas operated, just like a Garand. It's gas operated. I got my big rod right here. Goes all the way. You can see it move. The rod moving. You know, it's about 44 inches long, 22-inch barrel. 9-point-something pounds. It's you know, it's a hefty rifle. Safety down here in the trigger guard, just like a Garand down here in the trigger guard. Takes disassembles just like a Garand. Roll it over and you just pop this out and pull this whole thing out. Comes apart real easy. It does have even on here where I can use the stripper clip. So I'm gonna pull that bolt back so that you see this little portion here where a stripper clip can be put in there. So I could load that magazine with a stripper clip and not actually take the time to replace the magazine. You know, is it a nice weapon? You bet your ass it is. Is it a fully automatic? No, it's not. Why? Because the little piss heads are scared of shit. But, you know, I like to shoot it. I like to shoot a full-size weapon, just like I like to shoot a 45 ACP. You know, yes, I shot the M16s when I was in the military, but they're good rifles for what they are. They're light. You gotta think, you know, you get a boy who's 18 years old, weighs 140 pounds, 145 pounds, soaking wet, toting this thing 10 pounds. You know, he better man up quick or he's not gonna make it. Now, one thing that's a little interesting is the buttstock down here. I can flip this up and put my shoulder on it. I don't know anybody who ever has. Now, there's some snipers out there and some guys that use these things differently than I've ever used one. They may get on and give us a good comment why that's there, but I'm not sure. I mean, I know why it's there, but is it going to serve that bigger purpose? I can hide a cleaning kit in the bottom. You know, I've went back and got an original sling, or probably a replica of an original sling. I can lock the boat back on the side right here with this little mechanism right here. You see it right there where my finger's at. That'll lock the boat back. And the sights have proven, the little military aperture sights, some people call them military sights, some other people call them a peep sight, and they're adjustable with just a click. Pretty neat little things. The only thing about these things that was ever a big issue, I think, was number one, when you put them on rock and roll, that 308 was a little bit hard to control. So it was just walking away with people, and you get out there and get your ass in trouble, you don't want to shoot 111, you want to suppress a fire. So military felt like, you know, we're not hitting anything. I think the attitude of the military and over the decades have changed. I know the Marine Corps used to put a lot of emphasis on accuracy. Well, the U.S. Army would put more on suppressing fire and just putting the heat down range. Now I think all branches have come to some kind of in-between where they know the effectiveness of both ways. So now in the military, in the Army unit, we have a squad designated rifleman who may have something like this. He's out there with his accuracy like a Marine trooper would have with his, and then the Army still has their M16s or M4s where they're throwing down a lot of lead, and they're like getting heads down while this dude's picking off turkeys at 150 yards or so. So I think we've come a long way between the services and kind of figured out what works best. You know, it's been a long time since I've been there, but I know these things are still used. I think they never were dropped completely. I think some units used them, and I think the Navy kept them to fire things back and forth between ships. I could be wrong. You Navy guys help me out here if I'm right or wrong. One thing was an issue with them is, you know, the military used the Remington Action, 700 Action, and 308 for a long time as a sniper rifle. Well, putting a sniper rifle together on one of these, it's not that the weapon's not accurate enough to do it. It was how did you do it, because we've got this top ejection here. Well, they come along and they come up and design an actual scope mount for these things so they can do it. Now, I'm not saying this is an actual scope mount for an M14 because I don't know, but I'll tell you how it works. Right here on the side, you have a little hole right there on the side. This little baby fits right here on the side, and it sets down on there, and then you tighten it down, and then you can have your scope mounted right on the top of that thing. So right here is where that would go, and it's kind of ironic, but it sets mounted right on the top of this little, where the stripper clip is fitted. So it sets down nice and tight right there, where there'd be no wiggle once you get that screw in there. Let me see where the screw is. Here's the screw. Goes right in there, and it just tightens down. Now, because this is magazine fed, let me turn around this way, you can get a better look. Because it's magazine fed underneath, you lose the capability of feeding from the top unless you're doing it one round at a time, but you can't use a stripper clip anymore, but you do have the ability to put a sight on top of it. Have I got the sight for it? Yeah, I've got a sight I could put on it, but you know, that kind of takes away from some of the authenticity of the weapon for me. You can see what I've done by putting back on an original flash hider with a bayonet lug. I've got a bayonet somewhere, but we're not going to worry about that. I like the real McCoy. You guys know that. I'm Sergeant 1911. I like real battle weapons. I like guns that are built for men, one that'll bust your nose and rattle your teeth loose, one that you know when that son of a bitch goes off, it went off. There's no doubt that I'm putting steel down range and I'm putting it on target, and you better get the hell in your cover because I'm gonna eat your ass up. So what I'm gonna do, I've got a couple magazines, and actually I've got men's size magazines. I got a young man's magazine, I got a middle-aged man's magazine, and I got a man size magazine. I picked this up like a yard sale or something. Hell, it may not even work, but boy, I hope it does. You know what I mean? The other thing I'm going to tell you, all this ammo I've got for this 3008 today is probably pretty much my reloads. So I'm going to go out here and cross my fingers and hope that between all my reloads and these unused magazines, untested magazines, that this thing does go bang, bang, bang. Okay, gang, we're outside the range today with my Springfield M1A wannabe M14. We know what it is. I appreciate you guys watching, even though it's not a full auto fun toy. It's my fun toy. Now, I do have a little bit of disappointment. I have a 10-round magazine, I have a 20-round magazine, and I have a 30-round magazine, which I told you guys, you know, I like to play hard. Unfortunately, I got to looking after I did the first part of that video. I don't have enough ammo to run them all. So, I'm going to run what I got. You guys are getting my last nickel. Appreciate you watching. Let me go ahead and put the weapon on safe down here. Lock his bolt back first. Get it in there. You got to get them in there and rock them in there. They don't just pop in. I know. Wait a minute. Get it locked back. They don't slap in like your little AR-15 magazines. You got to rock them in forward and click it, almost like an AK, but not quite that bad. And now, those of you who are familiar with the M1 Grands, you know when they put the M block in there that you have to catch your thumb. People call it Garand thumb. We don't get Garand thumb with these things. We just over and done. Let's see what we do. See anything. Let's turn that around. Not hitting that well. The sights may be twisted just a little bit, but you know what? I smell it and it's fun. We'll pop out the 10 rounds. We'll put in the 20 rounds. See if I can do a better job. We got to rock it in there. There it went like it's supposed to. Have it forward. I'm hitting to the left of it. I can see that, so I know I've got a problem with my windage adjusting. I can see it kicking up dirt down there. But man, it's fun. I love the recoil on it. Now, just because I like to play hard and play big, I'm gonna stick this big bastard in there. Oh, excuse my language. I'm gonna stick this big son of a bitch in there, even though it's not full, and just see if it's gonna run. It did not. It did not run. Oh well. You know what? We'll tap it and see. That's what you get when you pick these things up at yard sales. Let's try it again. One round at a time. It is what it is. I'm not going to stand here and unload it and try to give you guys another thing. All I want to do is bring you out today, share one of my toys with you. You know, since 1959. These rifles have been around in some form or another. Great rifles, full-size battle rifle, not a tinker toy. Another man's gun. That's why we're out here today sniffing powder. I appreciate you shooting with me. Shoot again. When we do shoot again, shoot safe and shoot straight. Real quick, guys, you know, I said I was gonna spend my last nickel, and that's what I'm gonna do. That piss ass magazine is trash I got at the yard sale. I'm gonna burn them up like I said I would. Man of my word.